guys, I am back here with another reaction to Dune Prophecy. Today I'm going to be watching the second episode. Princess Chubby is present right there, look at her. So yeah, let's just dive into episode 2 of the series.
What is it with you and martyrs? If you're that eager to off yourself, there are simpler ways.
The Emperor's truthsayer killed just before the royal wedding. That's no coincidence.
Yeah.
That's an assassination.
Yeah.
You think someone attacked Kasha here?
I'm saying I'd keep my guard up.
Those chairs look incredibly uncomfortable. Oh, Chubby. You are so cute.
I have to secure the princess. With Kasha gone, someone has to fill the void and protect our plans.
Go. I can take care of things here.
Yeah, I kind of wondered, like, how they were going to handle this, given that the Emperor's truthsayer died at the same time as Pruitt Rachesi. Like, that's a pretty weird coincidence, and I don't know if I don't know if the Carinos are going to believe whatever the Bene Gesserit has to say to excuse the absence of Kasha, or death of Kasha, depending on what they actually tell them.
She needs to connect with her ancestors.
Right, I was also wondering about this, because they said, they made a point of saying, oh, that each of them has a favorite student or something, so I figured that would be relevant information at some point in the future.
Lead her. She'll make it. I understand your anger. But you, along with everyone, know the risks of thinking machines. They're unpredictable.
Oh, boy.
You should never have had one to begin with.
I don't think he's going to react very well to being blamed for this.
Before you insinuate that this is my fault, you may want to remind yourself that there is a fleet of fighters in orbit around this planet, and that it is still...
Like, girl, it's not the time.
First your men on Arrakis, now a death as you arrive here at the palace.
I wouldn't call it a tragedy. You don't have to pretend with me, Your Majesty.
Oh boy.
You made your feelings regarding Pruitt Rachesi and the wedding very clear. Of course.
Is he gonna actually just admit what he did, or what?
Boy, what you wanted me to.
Oh my god.
What I did for you.
Bro.
And I can do it again.
Oh, no. No, this is madness.
He's kind of underreacting to this news, I feel like.
Arrest him.
What is he, like a leprechaun? You say something that you want to wish, and then they give you like the worst wish ever.
Keep it quiet, not a word gets out.
I'll handle it personally, Your Majesty.
Oh boy. So, if he finds out what happened to Kasha, he's probably going to figure out that it was also Desmond who killed her. I feel like this scene is too long of a sex scene, even for HBO, unless there's something else relevant happening here.
I have a soldier in custody. My father thinks I didn't pay attention. When I saw our swordmaster take him into the cells.
Is this about my brother? Desmond Hard could still have value.
What do you mean?
There are many who would turn their weapons against us, and this man pledges his in our defense. All I'm saying is let's not rush to execute our friends, to please our enemies.
Jeez. I mean, she's not necessarily wrong, but jeez.
Did you kill Reverend Mother Kasha?
She was unworthy to stand beside the Emperor.
Jeez.
I saw the corruption in her heart. The same way I see the blood trailing your every step.
He sabotaged the wedding and murdered the woman who'd seen through his lies.
But she didn't.
Halfway across the universe?
We need to announce this rebellion in a way that cannot be ignored. Let's get a drink.
He might trust you, but I saw you the other night with the princess. Be careful. We can't afford any liabilities.
That was so much exposition about what the Atreides guy is doing.
You know something? All these years.
Good to see you, Sister Michaela. I'm sorry the circumstances aren't better. I think if you were given a gift, you should use it, lest it be taken away.
Why not let me show you how I would humble those who try to take from you?
Or sway you with corrupt counsel?
Honestly, she might be bad, but the Empress is kind of a vibe.
Crisis. Let it guide you. And breathe.
I don't think she's gonna make it.
The key to the reckoning is one born twice. Once
In blood.
What's in spice?
One born twice, who is that?
A revenant full of scars.
a weapon born of war.
On a path too short.
What is the nature of their power? How do we fight it?
Is that what they told you? To get you to come? I'm my granddaughter. She's not here. But I've been waiting for you.
Jeez.
Harkonnen. You stole my future. Now I'm taking your hope.
You weak fool. You think you can silence me? I will tear you from that throne and feed you to the wolves and let them choke on you. Who the hell are you?
That was fast.
History.
All right, so this is why they told the story of her being kidnapped and it being covered up before. Got it.
You mistake me for someone afraid. I'm not a 9-year-old boy.
And neither was Kasha Jinja.
Stop! Take out your blade!
Okay, so that is definitely That was an interesting episode in the sense that, like, a lot of things happened that I just didn't expect to happen, especially this soon. I'm very surprised by the fact that Desmond was so forthright with the fact that he killed Pruitt and killed Kasha. And I'm surprised that the Carinos switched up their point of view on them so quickly. Obviously, the Empress was more interested in what Desmond had to offer than the Emperor was, but I didn't expect him to be at the Emperor's side by the end of the episode. I think that's similar to the first episode. There was a lot of exposition. I think that was probably like the weakest part of the episode to me. It just felt like there was a lot of explanation of what was going on, or a lot of information that was dropped into the dialogue that didn't seem like it had a purpose at the time. So it was obvious that it was going to become relevant at some place later in the story. I think that given the amount of time that they have to tell the story in, that's not super surprising, but I also think over-exposition can get kind of boring. It's very much telling and not showing, and it just feels unnatural to human speak. I was surprised that Lila died already. Didn't expect that to happen so soon. I'm not that interested in the Atreides character that they have. Kieran thus far has not, like, thrilled me, but obviously, I mean, at least they did something with that in this episode, which is good. Desmond being immune to the voice obviously is interesting, although it's not that surprising. It would obviously be a bit of a plot inconvenience if he could be told what to do with the voice. Yeah, it was interesting that Kieran Atreides was working with someone who is an underground rebel and also a member of the Sisterhood. And yeah, obviously it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see where this is going, because we already know that the Sisterhood still exists for thousands of years after whatever this is. So what is the story that they're going to tell here? That's kind of a question that I always ask myself when I'm watching a TV show or a movie or reading a book in a fantasy world that has existed, or a fantasy world with a timeline that goes for thousands of years. What is it that makes this particular story something that the writers think the audience would be interested in? And again, when it's a premise that's kind of predicated on something that we know is going to fail, that's an interesting story to try to tell. And I presume they have an angle on this that isn't going to be as obvious. I think, given that we're dealing with characters who have basically the equivalent of superpowers, and whose entire game is kind of finding out the truth, it does make sense to reveal so much information so quickly, because it makes sense that all of these characters would be able to figure out what's going on, but it also makes me wonder, like, okay, so what's going to happen after that? So yeah, I'm just hoping that going forward, it's not going to be quite as much exposition. It's interesting because I know that the creator of this series worked as a writer on another series that I watched where I had the exact same problem, that it was like a lot of exposition dumping in the dialogue in a way that kind of put me off, and it's not quite as bad here, but it's something that stuck out to me, and maybe stuck out to me because I went into it with that kind of expectation, or with a higher radar for that kind of problem. So yeah, interesting episode. We're already a third of the way through the first season, and potentially the only season. So it'll be So I presume that the writers came up with a story that they could adequately tell in that amount of time. So I'm curious to see what that is and how it maybe relates to the broader Dune universe as we know it. So if you're interested in watching the next episode with me, just like and subscribe.